Welcome to District Command Central, your go-to source for the latest news and updates on the Washington Commanders. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell, so you never miss a play. The Washington Commanders' Sunday showdown against the Minnesota Vikings turned into a nightmare, not just for the scoreboard but for the team's morale. As veteran tight end Zach Ertz suffered a torn ACL, confirmed Monday morning. The injury occurred late in the third quarter during a 2nd and 11 play, when Ertz stretched for a pass and was hit in the right leg by Vikings safety Jay Ward, unable to bear weight. Ertz required assistance to leave the field and was carted directly to the locker room. Additional imaging will be required to determine the full extent of the damage, but the initial diagnosis has already sent shockwaves through the team and the fanbase. At 35, Ertz has been a cornerstone for Washington this season, recording 49 receptions for 493 yards and 4 touchdowns, while recently climbing into 5th place on the NFL's all-time receptions list. For tight ends with 825 career catches, his absence leaves an undeniable void in Washington's offense, stripping the team of one of its most experienced leaders and a key weapon in both the passing game and locker room leadership. The impact of Ertz's injury extends far beyond the statistics. The Commanders now face a daunting challenge as they attempt to navigate the remainder of the season without one of their most reliable offensive players. Offensive coordinators will need to adjust schemes and find new ways to utilize backup tight ends and younger players who have yet to prove themselves on such a large stage. The team's offensive line will also need to compensate for the absence of a player who not only catches passes but also contributes to blocking schemes, making the overall task ahead even more challenging. The shadow of injury looms over the team, as quarterback Jaden Daniels also aggravated his left elbow during the game, forcing him to leave, and Marcus Mariota stepped in under difficult circumstances, highlighting a season marred by instability and injuries. Sunday's game, ending in a 31-0 loss, was a stark contrast to the optimism after the Commanders' overtime loss to the Denver Broncos the previous week. While many had viewed the Week 13 performance as a turning point, capable of propelling the team forward, the Vikings game proved otherwise, taking the team multiple steps back. Head coach Dan Quinn did not mince words after the contest, saying, "I thought we took a step forward last week, and tonight I thought we took 3 steps back, and we didn't find our rhythm and let them live into there. None of it was acceptable." Later in the post-game press conference, Quinn even went further, stating that the team felt as though it had taken 10 steps back, a sentiment that resonated with players and analysts alike. Receiver Terry McLaurin echoed the sentiment, admitting that while the previous week offered some hope, the loss to Minnesota was a harsh reminder of the team's ongoing struggles. McLaurin highlighted a key moment in the game that symbolized the team's difficulties, pointing to an early possession where the Commanders reached the Vikings' 2-yard line with a goal-to-go situation, only to turn the ball over on downs. This missed opportunity in a 7-0 game set the tone for the rest of the afternoon. "If we would have came out with 7, it's a completely different game," McLaurin said, "because you come and respond to the drive that they had and it gives their defense like, okay, we go back out there and see those zeros. That was the game." Quinn agreed, noting that the 3rd down stops and missed opportunities effectively shifted momentum, creating a deficit in both confidence and execution amid the team's struggles. Linebacker Bobby Wagner provided a rare voice of resolve, emphasizing a relentless commitment to improvement. "Despite setbacks, it's unfortunate that where we're at, we have a lot of the guys in this room and just haven't worked out as far," Wagner stated, maintaining focus on the task at hand rather than the disappointment of the scoreboard. Wagner's determination contrasts sharply with the injuries and missteps that have defined this season, underscoring the dual narrative of persistence against adversity and the crushing weight of circumstance. The injury to Zach Ertz, in particular, compounds the pain of a blowout loss and threatens to destabilize an already fragile offense. McLaurin described Ertz as a linchpin for the team, a player whose leadership, reliability, and on-field production cannot easily be replaced. Quinn confirmed the severity of the knee injury post-game, acknowledging the veteran's significance and the challenge his absence presents. The team must now reconfigure its offensive strategies, leaning on backups, younger players, and perhaps even unconventional play calling to fill the vacuum left by one of their most dependable athletes. The quarterback situation also added layers of complexity. Daniels' aggravated elbow injury forced him out of the game, And while Mariota faced his own difficulties stepping into the lineup, the decision to prioritize player health was met with approval from both players and coaching staff. Quinn explained that it was his call to keep Daniels sidelined for the remainder of the contest, a choice emphasizing the long-term welfare of the team over immediate performance. Mariota, who filled in admirably under pressure, acknowledged the importance of this approach, noting, "You want to make sure that he's good, and at the end of the day, the health of the players is most important, and we want to make sure that he's taken care of. The psychological toll of the loss and injuries is significant." McLaurin made it clear that while sympathy for the team might exist externally, the players themselves must take responsibility for reversing their downward trajectory. The Commanders, he stressed, cannot rely on outside pity. They must rely on internal accountability and resilience. Mariota, who previously criticized the team's self-perception, echoed this sentiment, bluntly stating that the Commanders cannot continue to make progress if they repeatedly fall back into familiar patterns of underperformance. The team's inability to maintain momentum and the compounding injuries, particularly to key players like Ertz and Daniels, paint a sobering picture of a squad struggling to reconcile potential with execution. Looking ahead, the remainder of the season will test the Commanders' depth, adaptability, and mental fortitude. With 5 games remaining, the coaching staff must innovate and maximize the contributions of backup players, while veterans like McLaurin and Wagner shoulder the responsibility of maintaining focus and discipline. Ertz's absence is not just a statistical loss but a psychological one, removing a steadying influence from a locker room already burdened by repeated setbacks. The offensive schemes will have to evolve, emphasizing versatility and creativity to offset the loss of such a pivotal player, while the team's defense must compensate for offensive struggles that may increase the time spent on the field. This season has become a narrative of interrupted progress, where glimpses of improvement are quickly overshadowed by injuries, missed opportunities, and execution lapses. Quinn's acknowledgement of taking 10 steps back is emblematic of the broader challenge. Translating potential into consistent performance has proven elusive. As the Commanders face the road ahead, the dual pressures of recovering from recent losses and adjusting to a significantly altered lineup will define the team's character and resilience. Every game becomes a test not just of skill, but of leadership, adaptability, and the ability to maintain morale under the harshest conditions. The legacy of this season, while still being written, will hinge upon how Washington responds to adversity, whether it succumbs to the compounded challenges or finds a way to transform setbacks into a blueprint for growth. The Washington Commanders now stand at a crossroads, where veteran leadership, youthful talent, and strategic ingenuity will be measured against mounting obstacles. Zach Ertz's torn ACL is a stark reminder of the fragility of football careers and the importance of depth and preparation. While the scoreboard reflects a 31-0 loss, the broader implications ripple through the roster, affecting morale, game planning, and the trajectory of a season that promised hope but has been met with repeated setbacks. As the team recalibrates and searches for stability, the Commanders' ability to adapt, lead, and compete will ultimately define whether the remainder of the season serves as a lesson in resilience or a testament to missed opportunity. With every snap, every possession, and every challenge, the Commanders must confront the realities of a season that has tested them physically, mentally, and emotionally. The absence of Zach Ertz, the temporary loss of Jaden Daniels, and the collective struggle to maintain cohesion highlight the precarious nature of their journey. The team's response to these challenges, whether through individual heroics, tactical ingenuity, or the emergence of new leaders, will shape not only the outcomes of the final games but also the broader narrative of a franchise striving to find identity, consistency, and hope amidst adversity. The road ahead is uncertain, demanding unwavering focus, resilience, and the ability to convert setbacks into lessons. As the Commanders seek to redefine the remainder of their season and navigate the harsh realities of professional football, if you're enjoying the coverage, make sure to smash that like button and drop a comment with your thoughts on the Commanders' latest moves. We want to hear from you. Breaking news is swirling through the NFL landscape, and fans of the Washington Commanders are bracing for a shocking development that could reverberate through the league for months to come. Sources close to the team are whispering about an injury that might not just sideline a player for a few weeks, but could potentially alter the trajectory of an entire franchise. At the center of this storm is none other than Terry McLaurin, the electrifying wide receiver whose presence on the field has been nothing short of transformative for the Commanders, according to insiders. McLaurin has suffered a significant concussion, one that has raised alarms not only within the team's medical staff but throughout the league, with some speculating that the talented receiver may not return to professional play until 2026. Yes, that's right, speculation is swirling that McLaurin, arguably the heartbeat of the Commanders' offense and one of the most dynamic playmakers in the NFL, could be out for an extended period that stretches across multiple seasons. For fans who have followed McLaurin since he burst onto the scene, the news is almost impossible to digest. McLaurin's journey has been defined by resilience and explosiveness from his early days in college football to his rise in the NFL. He has consistently proven himself as a player who can change the outcome of a game with a single play. The whispers emerging now, however, paint a stark contrast to the image of the durable and relentless athlete fans have come to admire. Conversations around the league suggest that the concussion McLaurin suffered is severe, prompting concern not just about the upcoming season but about his long-term health. The NFL, while often criticized for its handling of concussions, has increasingly tightened protocols, and insiders claim that the team is adhering strictly to these procedures, prioritizing McLaurin's neurological recovery above all else. There is a growing undercurrent among analysts and former players suggesting that this is not just a temporary setback. The nature of concussions in the NFL has always been unpredictable, and while some players bounce back quickly, others face lingering effects that can span months, even years. With McLaurin, sources hint that the injury might be one of those cases that necessitates an exceptionally cautious approach. Reports indicate that the medical staff has recommended an extended rest period and an intensive rehabilitation process that could easily extend well beyond the normal recovery timeline for a typical concussion. The narrative floating around locker rooms and sports media circles is that the Commanders' brass is grappling with the reality of losing one of their top talents for a prolonged period, potentially reshaping team strategy and draft priorities for the immediate future. Fans are speculating endlessly on social media, with theories ranging from McLaurin's possible gradual return in mid-2026 to rumors suggesting that the injury could effectively end his current tenure with the team. Some even suggest that the Commanders might consider restructuring contracts, exploring trades, or doubling down on the draft to fill the glaring void his absence would create. McLaurin's speed, agility, and ability to break open defenses have made him a fan favorite and a nightmare for opposing cornerbacks. And losing such a player even temporarily forces a recalibration that could affect team morale and performance. Whispers of this magnitude rarely stay quiet for long, and sports talk shows are already buzzing with speculation, highlighting the uncertainty surrounding McLaurin's future and what it means for the Commanders' ambitions. The intrigue doesn't stop there. Sources hint that McLaurin himself is handling the news with a mix of frustration and determination, understanding the gravity of the situation while remaining committed to returning in peak form. Those close to him suggest that his focus has shifted entirely to recovery, mental resilience, and preparation for a comeback that, while far off, could redefine his career if approached correctly. Meanwhile, the league is reportedly watching closely, not only because McLaurin's injury has implications for team dynamics, but also because his case could influence concussion protocols and player safety discussions in years to come. Speculation is rife that McLaurin's situation might become a benchmark for how concussions are managed at the highest level, especially given his status as a marquee player and one of the most visible figures in the league. Meanwhile, gossip from inside the Commanders organization paints a picture of a team in quiet turmoil. Coaches and executives are reportedly convening behind closed doors, evaluating every scenario imaginable, from reshuffling the receiving corps to adjusting offensive schemes that have heavily relied on McLaurin's explosive ability to stretch the field. The whispers suggest that young receivers on the roster are being pushed harder than ever, not just to step up in McLaurin's absence, but to prove they can carry the torch in a season that now promises to be fraught with challenges. Rumors are even circulating that the team might aggressively pursue free agents or explore trades to bring in experienced wideouts capable of filling the void, creating a flurry of activity that insiders describe as unprecedented in recent team history. The ripple effect of this injury extends far beyond the Commanders' locker room. Rival teams are reportedly recalibrating their game plans, aware that the absence of McLaurin fundamentally changes the way they approach matchups with Washington. Pundits are analyzing how defenses might adapt without the threat of McLaurin's speed and precision, while fantasy football leagues are already feeling the tremors, with McLaurin's status raising countless what-if scenarios and strategy shifts, even long time. Observers admit that losing a player of McLaurin's caliber even temporarily introduces an element of unpredictability that could influence playoff races, draft strategies, and even coaching evaluations across the league. The buzz surrounding this injury is so intense that some insiders are cautioning against drawing premature conclusions, warning that while the timeline of McLaurin's return is grim, nothing is yet set in stone, keeping speculation alive and fervent among fans, commentators, and analysts alike as rumors continue to swirl. The narrative around Terry McLaurin has transformed from one of explosive athletic triumph to a tense story of uncertainty and anticipation. Fans are anxious, analysts are debating, and the Commanders' organization is quietly strategizing behind the scenes, all while the NFL watches closely, aware that the story of McLaurin's concussion could resonate far beyond the next season. Whether he returns in 2026 or sooner, what is undeniable is the impact of this injury on the league, the team, and McLaurin's own career trajectory. The suspense is almost cinematic, as though every play, every decision, and every step toward recovery is being meticulously observed, speculated about, and analyzed. In a world where rumors can ignite fan frenzy and influence public perception, the story of Terry McLaurin's concussion stands as a testament to both the fragility and the resilience inherent in professional sports, leaving the entire NFL ecosystem holding its collective breath, eager for any clue about what comes next. And while no official statement has confirmed the duration of McLaurin's absence, the chatter suggests a cautious, almost dramatic timeline that stretches into the future, leaving room for endless speculation. Whether this marks a temporary pause or a turning point in his career, the narrative has already taken on a life of its own, with every analyst, commentator, and fan weighing in on what it means for the Commanders, for McLaurin, and for the league as a whole. The whispers continue, the rumors grow, and one thing is certain: Terry McLaurin's concussion has become the story that won't easily fade, dominating conversations, stirring debates, and keeping everyone on edge as the NFL community awaits what might be the long road to recovery, redemption, and perhaps an unforgettable comeback. Thanks for tuning into District Command Central. Make sure to subscribe and follow us for all the Commanders news you need. Until next time, keep the faith and hail to the Commanders.